Hello, hello, hello. It's your new day with Donna Reiners and Dr. Owen, where we solve all the world's problems, or maybe just one. And maybe it's yours. In our 30 minutes, we talk about your emotions and mind and how they tie into your body and spirit. We want you to renew and restore yourself in a world that wants you crazy. And sometimes we even talk about money. Introducing your hosts, Donna Reiners and Dr. Owen. Well, hello, hello, hello. This is Donna Reiners and Dr. Cammy. And this is your new day, and we're so glad you're with us. And we are very, very excited about today's episode. And Cammy, she's the one who sold me on the topic. She said, we're going to do self-talk. I'm like, that's a great idea. And so self-talk is very important. I know, because I grew up in such a negative home and negative talk, not just from the internal, but from the external. And sometimes you learn the external and you don't even know that there's an internal switch that can be changed so that you can have a different language on the inside of you where you're more in agreement with who you really are and where you're really headed. And so, Dr. Cammy, thank you so much for this wonderful topic. Please take it away.
So,
Excuse me.
When we talk about self-talk, it is the tape playing. It's the programs that you have running. Where do these programs come from? Well, I believe there's many different sources of the programs, and today we're going to talk about just in your brain and what's actually so in this incarnation, this lifetime. Mm-hmm. But we also have a lot of programming that comes in from our DNA that our parents, they brought in, and then they pass it on to us. And we're a computer. We're a quantum computer. Our mind is a quantum computer. Our brain is a quantum computer. So we are programmed from the minute we come out of the womb. We are programmed, and not in a way that has people. I don't want to give the impression that this is some sinister thing. People just don't know what they don't know.
Yeah.
And so you have to think of your brain as an obedient 3-year-old. It does exactly as it's told, and it takes the information as the literal truth. So think about that for a second. Just like really, really get that. How do we speak to ourselves? What do we think? Those things, speaking is an actual frequency, thinking is an actual frequency, and it's a direct instruction to your cells, to your organs, and to the universe about where you are and what reality you want to create. So if we think about this quantum computer we have floating around in our head, that's an obedient 3-year-old, all the programming, everything that's ever been said to you, everything you've ever seen, everything you've ever experienced is recorded in your subconscious, in that hard drive, if you will.
Like a file system?
Yes. We have like a gazillion megabyte, hard drive in our computer, our quantum computer, and it literally stores every single thing. Now, can you recall every single thing? We're not there yet, but is it possible? Absolutely. But the subconscious starts filing things away in different files, and then it pulls up the things that are most prevalent in your thinking, in your environment, and how things have been programmed in you. So there's 5 levels of self-talk, and that's what we're going to talk about today is self-talk. So when you're a child, well-meaning parents that want to keep you safe and have you I'm not talking. We'll talk about abusive parents. But that's not what we're talking about. Just well-meaning parents that see that little bundle of joy that comes out and wants only the best for them. Mm-hmm. They program the most negative self-talk and without even realizing
No
it.
is the first word you learn.
Yes, you learn no. And no, you can't do that. That'll hurt you. No, don't do that. No. And there's researchers that found that I think it's in the hundreds of thousands of negative programming we get, and it's in the hundreds of the positive counteraction. So if you keep getting the same program over and over and over, what happens in your brain is those synapses really wire together really, really, really tightly. And so to unwire them, you have to reprogram it. So that's why, say you have to hear something 7 times, you have to hear something way more than 7 times to really wire it in. So that's what we're going to talk about, how this negative programming as, no, you can't do that. You're not good at singing. You're just not good at it.
Oh my goodness, that was told to me.
Yeah, you're not that cute.
Yep.
We love you, but that's just not who you are. And you're just a little big boned. It's okay. You're just a little big boned. These are all the things that we tell. We're told, and we tell. And I made the mistakes with my children. If it's not in your consciousness and something that you consciously you're doing, it's the programs you had, and you just bring them right on in. When you're that's not what our family does. Our family does this.
That's not our tradition.
That's not our tradition. Or you should do this. This is how we do it. And it's like, well, as soon as a little child who is just full of possibility starts pushing against the parent's self-talk, then that's shut down right away. What do you, in school, you have to be a little soldier, sit, don't fidget, don't move, don't question anymore. You can't even question anything anymore in education, but don't question. I told you this is how it is, and you just shut up and smile and say thank you. And so this type of programming, it's everywhere. It's just everywhere. And advertisers are the best at it. They made up entire science with it about how to program that. They solve a problem you didn't even know you had. In advertising, you must get this thing, and I didn't even know I cared about that thing, but now I care about it because I must get it. They tell us we must get it. So
Can I give an example?
Absolutely.
Will interrupt you?
Absolutely.
I heard, and I can't remember who it was. Oh, actually, it was one of my doctors. As a matter of fact, one of my medical doctors was, he's into the steps of holistic as well as the medical. And he was sharing about some of the science he's researched is that scientists do research on what colors people are attracted to. So why do you think some of our, not mine, but some of the favorite fast food restaurants are orange? Because of oranges. Because of vitamin C. Listen, that may sound crazy, but he had this whole litany of things. And most of the time we come on, we're not exactly on the fly, but we're kind of on the fly, sharing our hearts and our lives. And so I don't have all the research behind it, but that made perfect sense to me. And it made me so aware when I was hungry. I started being aware. I'm hungry. What am I hungry for? I'm actually hungry for something nutritious. But that right there is so fast and easy. And that color I saw how the color was attempting to draw me. So I literally took time to start cutting off that source of drawing me so I could turn to what's nutritious. So when she's talking about programming, for those of you who might need just a little bit of a different example, for me, it's kind of called the renewal of the mind. Now, normally, we shouldn't have to have our mind renewed. Our parents should be beautiful examples of our being open to everything and having the pathway that would be beautiful and full of possibilities, like she said. But we really do have a lot of life that happens. And so what I call that is we have something when we're young reinforced so much. It's reinforced so much that eventually it digs a ditch. And the ditch is long. And the ditch is deep. And the more you reinforce it, whether it's good or bad, it doesn't matter. It's reinforced. And so eventually, I know when I started really renovating my mind, not renewing, but renovating it, I'm like, okay, this has got to go. I realized that it was sometimes I would put it's like dirt poured into it to fill that up, so it wasn't reinforced anymore. But then one day I woke up and realized, I needed a new pathway. And some of the things I could not just continue to put dirt in there. It worked some. It helped me to be more stable. It helped me to have more possibility. It helped me to see more, because I wasn't so digging deep in the ditch I couldn't see the sun or see my pathway. But then I started saying, okay, no, I need a new pathway. So as I started the self-talk and the different tools that we use to begin a new pathway, I started coming up out of that ditch in my mind and starting a literal new pathway, like a new pathway where I was deciding, not the people who made the decisions for me, no matter who they were, no matter what authority. I thought, I really am the authority in my life.
Yes.
And I do come from my spirit alive in Christ. I don't come from the universe. I don't come from those things. I personally believe in the one who created everything. So I believe we're all inside of the one who created everything. And it doesn't even matter what you call or who you call, because the one who created us is not the one in the identity crisis, you see. It's the human beings that we have the issues. And so anyway, if you could, while she's talking about programming, reprogramming, think of yourself as someone who's taking your own authority and start creating your own pathway until that pathway is so solid it's from your decision making.
Yes.
Anyway, that's just a little segue for some visual for the people that aren't computer techs.
Thank you. I'm not a computer tech either.
No, but you're amazing in what you understand.
Yes. It's really comical about that you say computer tech. Everybody that knows me knows that is not the case. So I just can't be bothered. I really can't. I found the closest 12-year-old and said, "Can you fix this for me?"
I love it. I love it. When you said computers earlier, I was thinking, wow, that's if we think we can get a virus gets in computers. All my mind went into it. That's why this can be several episodes. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So when we talk about self-talk in the programs, this is why people get this great idea. They watch some inspiring something. Maybe it's your new day. Something.
When I went to college, and this is probably a good example. I studied TV and radio initially from the get-go in the 80s. And then life came and different decisions were made. And over a lifetime, the inside of me always loved the space where I was on TV or in my mind. I tell you what, when the phones came out, I was one of the first ones that started doing selfie little videos. It was ridiculous. People made fun of me, but I loved it. I felt so comfortable. Like, I feel comfortable in front of the camera. I feel comfortable. Why? It's not because I'm all that in a bag of chips. It's because it's what I'm made for. Mm-hmm. See, what you're made for is something on the inside of you. And if you don't reinforce it, it still hungers inside of you for there's a space for it, see? But what am I going to do with it? This is one thing we're doing with it. There's other things as well, but now it's time to reinforce the pathway of what's inside that calls us. Yes. Is that kind of what we're...
Well, yes, because it's so important to be aware of this self-talk, because this is what makes or breaks your life and the life that you're choosing to create. Like I was saying, you might see some really inspirational something, and you're so inspired, but all that negative programming comes in, and that's just for them.
You can't do it. I can never afford that.
I can't do that. I can't afford that. I don't.
Nobody would watch it.
I'm too dumb for that. I don't know what. I wouldn't know what to say.
Who would I invite?
Who cares what I have to say? Nobody's listening anyway. All of those, all that negative self-talk. So there's actually 5 levels of self-talk, and we'll talk about as you go up. They're more helpful. But the first level of self-talk is the negative agreement, and that's where I think most people live.
Example.
I can't do that. I won't do that.
So the thought comes, hey, why don't you be a part of that? That's a great idea. Oh no.
Yeah,
I don't think I can do that.
I can't do that. It's all your can'ts, all your I won'ts. Mm-hmm. I can't, and you agree with it. I can't be beautiful. I can't be rich. I just don't have time. I don't have any time. I can't.
I'll never finish that.
I'll never
Why would I
finish-
start it?
I can't finish that. I'm not smart enough. I'm not smart at all. I'm not beautiful. I'm not. Whatever it is. If you just start actually being aware of where you are in your negative self-talk, it probably takes up 80 to 90% of actually what you think. And as soon as you think of something outside of that ingrained programming, your programming will say abort mission. We're not thinking that way, because literally in your brain it is so tangled together and so wired so tight. Those are the synapses that fire. And you have this one little synapse over here that fires, like, oh no, we're way stronger, we're way bigger than you, and you just go away. That was cute, thanks for sharing, but no. Hell no.
Like I'll drown.
Yes. And so that is level 1.
Amazing.
And that is, like I said, 80 to 90% of normal folks' patterns of thinking.
And we don't even know it.
Yes, we don't. We're unconscious to it completely. I remember when my kids were small and like trying to ride a bike. And I remember my daughter was just, afraid to fall. What if I fall? What if I fall? I said, what if you don't? What if you don't? And it didn't occur to her
that she wouldn't fall.
It wasn't something that was the first thing that came up, is I will be successful. I am successful in all the things I do. That is not the first thing in the programming that comes up for folks. The first thing is, where's the holes in it? Where's the problem with it? What the heck are you thinking? Who do you think you are to think that? Why do you think you're so great? Why do you think you deserve anything awesome and great in your life? Who the heck do you think you are? We're programmed that way. That is our programming. So we have some work to do to overcome that programming.
It's good. It's about identity.
Yes.
I was listening to Dolly Parton the other day, and she was talking about how from a little kid, from the get-go, it's interesting because she grew up extremely poor, right? Mm-hmm. Isn't it interesting that she, on the inside of her, had something different? Now, she could have chosen to take the pathway of the outside voice that said, you can't wear that, that looks trashy. She was literally talking about how everything she wore, people would say, don't wear that, you look trashy. Nobody ever listened to you. Nobody will ever take you serious. But this is what she said in her interview. But on the inside of me, I thought to myself, but that's the real me. Mm-hmm. I'm not trashy, but I love to wear that. And I want to, and the bigger, the better. The bigger, the better. And the bigger, the better. And the more flamboyant, the better. And she said, because that's the real me. And I'm going to be the real me, because I'll never be happy if I can't be me. And so from a little kid, she started that pathway. And so now, look at her now. Boy, nobody listened to her. And nobody, helped her along the way, because she is a leader with women. Yes. Being who you are and loving people right where they are, no matter who they are, no matter what they're doing. She loves everybody right where they are, and she helps them succeed. Yes. Because she chose from early on, but she could have listened to all those voices you're talking about at level 1.
And that's that. It's literally a program. So it's not like you're free willing it or any of that. Mm-hmm. This is the reason, and we'll get to this level, but this is the reason just affirmations do not work, because there's not the consciousness understanding of where affirmations are in this hierarchy of self-talk. The next level of self-talk is still a destructive level. This is where you recognize a need to change. Okay, I'm going to say that again. You recognize a need to change. That sounds like that would be pretty good. I need to lose weight. I need to study more. I need to be more tidy. I need to be more organized. What's not apparent in that statement is that the the negative agreement statement is right behind that. I need to lose weight, but I'm not gonna. I need to be more organized, but I'm not. We just stop the statement, but it's in there in the subconscious. So that's just stated another way of, I don't have that. I need to, I need to lose weight. What you're actually saying is, I need to lose weight because I know I'm not gonna. I recognize there needs to be a change, but I'm not there yet. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do the things. I'm not gonna take the action. And I'm just stating it out here, but my subconscious, the programming is still alive and well. That's just a flip side of being aware, at least, that the programming exists. So I need to do this. I should do that. You should do that. All the judgments around that is another form of your self-talk, your level 1 self-talk. It's just putting a pretty bow on it, but it's the same exact thing.
A judgment, in case you don't know, is just a decision you make somewhere inside that blocks you, stops you, or changes the way you look, see, or feel about a certain thing or a certain person, including yourself.
Yes, absolutely. We walk around just judgy beings, and a lot of it, again, is this programming. Not like you're a judgmental, negative person, consciously, but we are. You see somebody that walks by and maybe they have spiky green hair with a mohawk down the middle, and I would argue that there's some people that will have an opinion about that, and some judgment about that, and some judgment of that person's character, and some judgment about who that person is as a holistic being of God, Christ, whatever word you want to use for it, that there's some judgment there. There's some big judgment there. So those are all the programs. Those are all the programs running. You didn't come out, well, you came out with a little bit of it, but mostly we get that as we're going, like we don't talk to those people. Religion's a big one. There's a big one.
We don't smoke or chew or do or hang out with people who do.
Yeah, and we're
religion is the big one. That's what I was going to say. The law versus love.
Yeah.
When you were talking about earlier,
yes.
The no is the law.
Yeah.
Not that yes is for everything. Listen, I'm not going to say yes to somebody jumping off a cliff. That's just dumb. Okay? But no is from the law. No, don't do that, or you're going to have this consequence, which is part of the subconscious you're talking about.
Yes. And like you're talking about, yeses aren't for everything. What we're talking about is getting to your highest choice. What is your best, highest choice for your now moment right now? If I'm, saying I should, be more organized, but I literally still sit on the couch and throw all my stuff everywhere, there has to be some action around it, or it's not going to reprogram the brain. There will be action, and we'll talk about some of the actions in
and roots. We'll talk about roots
yes.
too, because I've had those issues, and it did take me a minute to reinforce anew, but it wasn't just that. I had to remove the root cause to that whole situation,
yes.
and when I did, literally, it took 6 months to a year for me to see the fruit of it, because I was reprogramming. I was building a new pathway, and I had to be patient and kind with myself as I made new decisions and fell and didn't make it sometimes, but got myself back up
yes.
and kept moving, because
yes.
that's part of self-love,
yes.
self-talk.
Yes. The next level is where we start getting into the positive side of self-talk, which is the decision to change. The one below that is the recognition for change, but then there's a decision to change. And that's where you can use words like never or no longer. So I no longer am disorganized. I am no longer late. I show up on time where I'm supposed to be at every moment. And I enjoy being on time. One of the things is, I don't remember people's names. I don't remember people's names. I no longer forget names. I enjoy remembering and honoring all those I meet. Those are the ways you can flip that negative self-talk into, one example. This will be an extreme example, but say you want to quit smoking. One way to do that in this self-talking and reprogramming is you're smoking. Every time you pick up a cigarette and light it and everything is, I never smoke. Even though you're smoking, like in the reality, the programming is there for you to do this. That is the programming is there. What we have to do is reprogram what's going in. So every time you smoke, I no longer smoke. I no longer enjoy smoking. And as you do that, if you do that enough, your subconscious will start saying, then why do you have that little white thing with the fire on the end? It'll occur to you one day.
Yes, it will.
That I don't know. And then you get to make the choice of putting it down. Now you're in a conscious decision. You're actually consciously deciding your highest choice. And we'll have to pick up the other 2 levels on the next episode. But what you're speaking to, Donna, is that we get to choose. And if you're unconscious that there's a choice, then you're unconscious there's a choice.
And we'd have been divorced by now had I not taken up a new choice.
Yes,
I'm telling you,
yes.
It would have been on me.
Yes, and seeing the divine perfection in everyone is really what the game is about. Because everybody has their programmings walking around, but we really are beings of God, and
the great I amness.
Yes, and to know that, and that's actually the next level of self-talk.
That's awesome.
I am.
We'll see you in the next time. I amness. That's awesome. Oh, that's a blessing. Thank you for joining Your New Day with Donna Reiners and Dr. Cammie Owen. We look forward to seeing you next time. Remember, we solve all the world's problems, or maybe just one, and maybe it's yours. Until soon.